Hello and welcome back to another new edition of Windows and Current Affairs. And today in this edition of Windows and Current Affairs, we're going, of course, to talk about the summer season and the summer tourism in Egypt, which is one of the best worldwide. Why? Because Egypt possesses the most beautiful, the most charming, the most attractive beaches worldwide, the locations, the weather, the environment in general, the most beautiful cuisine, attractive cuisine, the most beautiful hotels. The new Alamein city is one of the most or the newest attractions that is added to Egypt when it comes to this summer 2022. Of course, we all know the latest developments that has been established in Al Alamein city, the new hotels, the buildings, the beaches, the entertainment, the celebrations and everything, the flow of tourism that has reached its peak during July, in July and August, and even from June. It has been hilarious. And today we're going to be talking about Al Alamein city, about Marsa Alam, about Dahab. Of course, as we all know that Marsa Alam and Dahab is way far from Al Alamein, but at the same time they are marked as the best top destinations to be visited during summer attractions. And we're very delighted to be having with us Dr. Amr Atef, travel expert, PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies, Faculty of Tourism and Hotel Management. Good evening, Dr. Atef.
Good evening, Dina. How are you doing?
And as usual, there is no one better than you to be able to assess the top destinations worldwide.
Thank you. I'll take that as a
And
compliment.
as usual, you're not biased. You're not biased to a location on the extent of another. But honestly speaking, Egypt is the best. With all that space of beaches, beautiful beaches, crystal white sand and crystal blue a color of water there, very healthy, warm weather and all that. Let us first talk about Al Alamein city. Of course, it's a new city. It is considered to be a second capital. Next to Al-Asima Al-Idriya, or the new capital or the new administrative capital. But in a new sense, that this one is like something that is a little bit different, a little bit festive, a little bit
bright.
Of course, a little bit bright, a little bit attractive, much more, and a little bit type of a very light life, relaxing life that could be compared to cities like San Francisco, San Diego, California, even much more better.
Yeah, and the Riviera.
Riviera. It is the Riviera
the
of the
Egyptian
Middle
Riviera.
East.
They call it the Egyptian Riviera.
My question to you reminded me, because my question to you was about calling or giving the title of the new Riviera of the Middle East, which is Al Alamein city, especially that there are lots of Gulf investments inside it.
Yep.
Other Emirati investments and other, investments from neighboring countries inside Al Alamein. That's why they called it the new Riviera of the Middle East. How far is Al Alamein able to change the map of tourism inside the region?
Well, Al Alamein is, of course, a new development, a new city that the government has been working on for the last 5 years or 6 years. And actually, since 2018, they started Al Alamein. I mean, building Al Alamein. Al Alamein was there before. And speaking of Al Alamein, I happened to visit Al Alamein in the 2000s, in 2004, 2005. And there were charter flights that used to go to Al Alamein. And at that time, there was nothing there except a couple of hotels. And it was the beaches, of course, and just plain desert.
Of course.
Today, when you go to Al Alamein and when you drive by,
we don't want to forget the mines.
Yes,
the landmines.
The landmines in Al Alamein, of course. And but speaking of Al Alamein and the towers that have been skyscrapers that are there, that reminded me with this traveler who was in China, going on a conference, and he told me that he passed by a building on the way to his conference every day, and every day he can see more achievement going on in the building, or more of the construction going on a day by day. Well, this goes for Al Alamein as well. When you drive by, it's amazing the vast development that goes in Al Alamein. I mean, the hotels, I mean, the beaches. It's a totally new development, and we can absolutely call it the new capital, or another capital of Egypt. People and travelers from all over the world now go to the north coast, and it became a tourist attraction, not only for the Egyptians, but also for our friends and families from the Gulf countries and from the Arab countries. And you might wonder, in the past, when you used to go in the streets of Cairo, drive in the streets of Cairo, there were lots of our friends and families from the Gulf countries in Cairo. You don't see them in those big numbers. And I always wondered, where did he go? I mean, now they go to Al Alamein. Because there are lots of investments also from the United Arab Emirates and from Saudi Arabia and from different Gulf countries in Al Alamein. So lots of the travelers do go to Al Alamein, and they do spend their summer holidays there. So it became very trendy, not only as a tourist area or a tourist destination, but also as a residential area, because there are lots of housing, lots of apartments, and it's a total city, plus the lush and vegetation. So there are lots of farms, lots of green, and lots of farming going on. More than 1,000 kilometers of entertainment city. I mean, 1,000 square kilometers of entertainment city is in Al Alamein, which is considered to be one of the largest worldwide. More than 14 towers or skyscrapers between residential and hotels, and you drive by Al Alamein and you get impressed. I mean, you feel that you are really in the Riviera, and that's why they call it the Egyptian Riviera. So Al Alamein, and also the government did a great job, by the way, cleaning it. Remember that Al Alamein was a place during the WW2, World War II. So the government first did a good job cleaning all the area. I mean, from those mines that were there from the WW2, and it costed tons of money to clean it and clear it and make it ready. And this has been going on for the last actually 2 decades. And now they are working on this new capital, if I can say. This development will increase the number of travelers that will come to Egypt. Egypt has always been known for the culture tourism, and for the resorts, we're talking about Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, and maybe Dahab, Nuweiba, but Al Alamein is an added value for tourism in Egypt, and expected to attract between 2 to 3 million travelers a year, which is a big number for one city to visit. Plus, lots of the expats who are living in Egypt live in Al Alamein, so they're working in the different projects, and so that's absolutely a big tourist attraction.
Of course, it's offering millions and millions of job opportunities.
Absolutely. Imagine, I mean, you're talking about job opportunities, you're talking about hotels, you're talking about construction, you're talking about gardens, you're talking about services. So you're talking about millions and millions of job opportunities, and that would help with the sustainability. Of course, you know that sustainability became very important worldwide, so that will be going parallel with the sustainability, because it also helps the local community. Now people leave their cities and towns and villages, and they go to Al Alamein for in the working projects. So it keeps people working, and it's considered to be a cash flow, because the recycling of the money is very fast. Not only from tourism, but also from the construction, from the services, from the hotels. People always think that tourism depends upon the services only, but tourism actually goes in every item. Agriculture, and Egypt is an agriculture country, helps with tourism. It's a win-win relationship. I mean, the vegetables and the fruits and different kinds of food that supplies the hotels and the travelers, that's good for the economy. So it's more than 50 industries that serve and accommodate tourism in general, and in Egypt in particular.
What do you expect? I mean, how do you assess the types of tourism that are offered inside Al Alamein? Besides, of course, it's a resort, it's a summer resort. Besides the stunning beaches, beside the restaurants, the festivities there. I mean, other than summertime, what type of tourism, what type of life can Al Alamein offer for people?
Al Alamein, I mean, the government has been building schools, has been building universities, has been building apartments, houses. So it's a total, complete city. And I noticed that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has been going back and forth to Al Alamein, and the government has been doing meetings, you know, in Al Alamein. So that will be an attraction. It can be a place where the government is, and people would know from all over the world that, you know, the government is there, and that will be inviting. So it will be an attraction point. So Al Alamein can offer recreation, can offer water activities, can offer, I mean, if people want relaxing spot, they can go to Al Alamein. If they want also recreation spots, or if they want sports, they can go to Al Alamein. So it's a mix of everything, if I can say, and it's considered to be what they would call a 4G city, a new 4G city, because it has been built with the latest development methods, if I can say. It's a smart city, and the different telecommunication companies from all over the world has been working in Al Alamein, and it's very impressive. And if you notice that you walk through and you drive and you see the activities and total life going on. If we're talking about the Western Desert, and it's also a good thing to have a big city or a capital in the Western Desert, because for security. Well, I'm not a security expert, but from the readings and from that, it's good to have people living there. It is good to have, instead of being an exposed desert, it's now hotels and travelers and Egyptians. It has been built to accommodate 2 million Egyptians can live in Al Alamein. So you just mentioned job opportunities. You just mentioned water activities. You just mentioned Al Alamein is a summer resort. You just mentioned it will attract different types of travelers. Travelers who want summer resort, and at the same time they want this modern kind of accommodation, modern type of city, and comfortable and I would say luxurious way of spending their vacation. So it's a very good added value for Egypt, and I think it will promote tourism and will help the economy, especially when we talk about job opportunities. As you mentioned, it created humongous numbers of job opportunities. So people, when they talk about, I hear commentaries all the time about building the roads and about building the new cities. But imagine how many job opportunities has been created when they build the roads, when they build those new cities. It's not only the idea of the resort. It's also overcoming unemployment, and it did help by overcoming unemployment in Egypt and creating those job opportunities.
Right, but also speaking about the new Al Alamein city, not only as a summer resort, but also as a capital all in all, during the whole day, the whole year for Egypt, like in the sense of another annex to the administrative capital, because there are, I mean, there were buildings set for, there were governmental buildings, schools are supposed to be built there, facilities for citizens, not only during summertime, but for, you know, people to live throughout the whole year. Governmental offices are going to be built. Is that true?
It is true, and it's already there. I read that there are lots of government buildings that are there. There are lots of schools that they started building already, universities. It is built as a city for people to live, and there will be lots of services, lots of facilities all year round. So it's not going to be only a summer resort. It's going to be a place where people live. Plus, the temperature in Al Alamein is very suitable, and it's cool in the summer. I mean, cooler than other places, and it's also nice in the winter. It's not very cold, but it's all, there is also nice warm weather in the winter. So people would love to live there all year round. And I have never seen or heard about people going to Al Alamein before. I mean, 5-6 years ago, but now people are now talking about Al Alamein. People are always asking if they know you're working in tourism, for instance. They tell you, how can we go to Al Alamein? How can we want to spend our holiday there. We want to go and spend a weekend there, and so on and so forth. Plus, the new roads that the government has been building facilitated moving around, facilitating commuting, if I can say, commuting back and forth.
The new infrastructure, I mean,
The new infrastructure,
a huge net of infrastructure was established.
Absolutely, humongous, huge net of infrastructure, huge network of roads. Now you can go from Cairo all the way to Al Alamein in 3 hours, which is amazing. I mean, with the new road that the Al Alamein road that the government just built. So this network of roading. And that reminds me with His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during his presidential campaign. I remember that he was talking about building new roads, and he said, I will build a road network that will hold the country together. I mean, and he did. And now you can see the roads everywhere. I mean, I'm from the Delta, and I'll give you just a small example. Speaking of the roads, and it's a little bit out of the topic, but it's interesting. I'm from the Delta, in north of Cairo, like 70 kilometers from the Delta, from Munufiyya Governorate. Originally, I mean, our family is from the state of El Munufiyya, and that's like 70 kilometers from Cairo. And before building those new roads, when we used to go to visit our countryside, the village, and the lush and vegetation there, it would take us like 2 hours and a half, average of 2 hours and a half to 3 hours. If we did the Delta Road, or if we did the other road from Cairo by Mbaba and all the way to our homeland, our countryside in the Delta. With the new road, and I'm talking about that out of experience, personal experience, not only me and my family. Now we take the new roads from where we live in Cairo, all the way, and it takes us all the way down to our village, literally. So the bridge takes us, the road drops us off in our village. I mean, to us, this is amazing. And it takes us good 1 hour, door to door. Can you imagine? It's like saving 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, bear in mind the traffic that has been expanded recently. So instead of going from Cairo to the Delta in 3 hours, we take the road of Banha al-Hur, free Banha road, and it takes us 1 hour door to door. How impressive is that? And you go by the road, and it drops people in the villages.
It saves time and money and everything.
Saves time and money and effort and energy. And everything. And people just, in the past, when our family used to say, we're planning to spend the holiday in the countryside, we say, oh my God, we're going to drive and drive and drive and drive. And the road was bumpy a little bit sometimes. I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. But now, it became just a piece of cake. I mean, you can go there, visit the family, and come back in just in 2 or 3 hours, and the mission is accomplished. That saved lots of things, and it also good for the families, the family bond, if I can say, because we get to see our families more. They come to Cairo more. In the past, they were kind of insulated. They were in the villages, but they cannot visit their fellow friends and families in the different parts. I'm talking about Menofia, or about this part of the Delta, because I'm originally from this part of the Delta. But this goes for other places as well, for Tanta, for people from El Gharbiya, from people from Sharqiya, because this freeway, this highway, actually drops in different villages in the countryside, which is amazing. I remember I invited friends of mine to our village, to our countryside, and they were impressed that I mean, I was happy, and they were impressed that the road took them directly to our village, which is very impressive and made us very proud.
And if you could excuse me, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue this edition of Windows and Current Affairs in a few moments, so stay with us. Welcome back, and we're still on this episode of Windows on Current Affairs, and with us is our dear guest, Dr. Amr Atef, travel expert, PhD, Heritage and Museum Studies, and we were talking about Al Alamein city and how is it going to change the face of tourism and even life inside the Middle East. It's not only in Egypt. In the sense that Al Alamein is not regarded as an Egyptian city as much as it is regarded as a regional attractive
destination,
hub, and destination, a Mecca for all Arabs.
Yes.
And from also other neighboring continents.
Yes.
Because it is continental. It has different facilities. It has different, types of services. It has different locations that you could use it throughout the year, like you kindly explained earlier before the short break. And it was built in a way that it could be providing services, providing job opportunities, could be a destination throughout the whole year. But let us talk about how is it going to be invested in the most and the smartest way. I mean, investing over tourism, investing over business meetings and business opportunities, investing over entertaining events. And speaking about entertaining events, ever since the month of June started, and lots and lots and lots of festivities and entertaining events has been held, very, very successful.
Yes.
And fully booked.
Yeah, I will start with the events. I mean, there are lots of events has been going on in Al Alamein. And thousands and thousands of people are attending those events. If we're talking about musical concerts, if we're talking about musical bands, if you're talking about famous singers that have parties there, and people go attend those parties and talk about it. They say this white party. The other day they were talking about the white party and about this and that. I would say it's very attractive, and it became a melting point. Cosmopolitan kind of. You go there and you see people from different countries. I mean, you see people from the Arab countries, and you'll be amazed. You see travelers as well. To tell you the truth, when they started the project of Al Alamein, and they were talking about using Al Alamein as a tourist attraction, I personally thought, I mean, travelers come to Egypt to go to see the pyramids. Travelers would go see Luxor and Aswan, or see Sharm el-Sheikh, or I thought maybe they're not going to go and see Al Alamein. You'll be amazed that travelers from all over the world, I mean from different parts I would say, from the US of A, or from the UK, or from even Australia, when they come and they go visit the pyramids, they ask about Al Alamein, and they say, how can we go there? Travel agents are now asking for brochures of Al Alamein and the hotels of Al Alamein. They want to sell it as part of an extension of the trip. So people would come and spend days in Cairo, and then maybe a cruise, and then a pre or a post trip in Al Alamein, which will be a relaxing holiday after the activities that they are doing with the culture tourism. And again, people come to see New Egypt now. Egypt, if we can say, I always tell the travelers, Egypt is not your mother's Egypt, is not your grandmother's Egypt. This is New Egypt now. And I love when I see on the TV that they say the new Egypt or the new state or the new country or the new republic. I love it because it's true. I mean, it's not something for an advertisement or this, but it's really true, and I can see, and travelers can see New Egypt. Al Alamein also is a perfect spot for this Instagramic tour, if I can say. People like now to take a picture and show it to their friends. So they say, imagine, we've been here, this is in Egypt, we are in this hotel, I don't want to mention names of hotels just to be politically correct, but there are lots of international chain hotels, high-end, if I would say, luxurious hotels are in Al Alamein, and travelers like to go there. The other plus and added value to Al Alamein, when you build a new resort in any country in the world, there is always the first visitors to this place, and that's where the cash flow comes, or where the most benefit or comes to the area. Just to give you an example, let's say when they opened Marsa Alam. Now there were lots of charter flights that went to Marsa Alam, and those flights, the operators, foreign tour operators, plus also the Egyptian travel agencies, had a good opportunity for lots of business there. And so I would say, they say this is the creme de la creme of the tour, or whatever it is. So this went, I've seen it along the years. I've seen it first in Taba Heights. Speaking about Sinai, Taba Heights, when Egypt got our dear land Taba back, there were lots of resorts that has been built, international resorts, and then there were lots of charter flights that came, especially from the UK, by the way, because the British are always impressed, and you know, it's very close, not far, and also people from Germany, from Italy, from Spain, charter flights that came all the way and filled Taba Heights like there is no tomorrow. And I've seen that. I've seen that in 2002, 2003, when they just started. In the past, we only had one hotel, if you remember, on the borders, and that's it. And again, I don't want to mention the name, but there was only one hotel. But now there are like 30, 20 hotels, and there are lots of resorts. I'm talking about Taba and how it developed along the years. That goes also for Dahab. Speaking of Dahab as one of the very big attractive spots in Egypt. In the past, Dahab was built, or actually was just a little village for the fishermen, for people who were fishing. I mean, nomads and Bedouins were fishing in Dahab. It was only a small, people were living in huts, and it was just a place for fishermen and for fishing. Go to Dahab today. See how it is. See the hotels. See the different motels. So it's not only those 5-star fancy hotels. And it's amazing. It's not expensive. It's affordable. In spite of whatever people are saying, it's still affordable, and it's not expensive because there are lots of varieties. So you can go with 3,000 Egyptian pounds or with 2,000 Egyptian pounds, you can spend a holiday there. And with less than that or more than that, you can spend also a holiday there. So it's not expensive. Dahab is also the thing that makes it more attractive and special is that there are lots of morning activities and night activities. So people can go to the, let's say, the colored canyon in the morning, or they can go swimming and snorkeling and scuba diving during the day, or they do fishing trips. So they take those boats and go down and they do fishing. So there are lots of activities and exercises and this and that, and water activities. That takes place. You see those boats in the water there on the surface, and the banana boats and the windsurfing and it's amazing, and people are happy and laughing and cheerful and enjoying the sun and the yellow sand and the water and the clear water. Egypt is blessed, and not because I'm Egyptian, no, and not because I'm in the field of tourism, no. Egypt is special and blessed with different items. If you're talking about summer resorts, Egypt has it all. If you're talking about crystal beaches, Egypt has crystal beaches. If you're talking about sand beaches and clear sand beaches, Egypt has it. If you're talking about cruises and Nile cruises and water activities, Egypt has it. If you're talking about village tourism, Egypt has it. Village tourism, I mean, or rural tourism, if I can say rural tourism, Egypt has it as well. People like to go to the countryside and enjoy spending a day or two with the farmers in the fields. Now on the Nile, it's not only those big cruises that does the trips, but they have those small dahabiyas, and the good thing about it is they can pull over and dock by the water, by the Nile, and travelers would get off, and I've seen that, and they walk through the farms and enjoy the sugar cane fields and peeling the sugar. I have lots of pictures of travelers peeling off the sugar cane and eating sugar cane and walking through the farms and the fields and seeing the bananas and banana fields, and also the mango fields. And also Egypt has cuisine traveling, or because Egypt is famous for lots of types of food. We can write books about Egyptian cuisine, and it's all delicious and tasty. If you are vegetarian, you can come to Egypt and enjoy the falafel, for instance.
Of course.
That's well known worldwide, and people
and the
love it.
organic vegetables in Egypt, it's not like any other. You can never find it anywhere else in the world.
You can
it's
never
very
find
expensive.
it. It is expensive.
All the organic food, you find it here in Egypt.
Absolutely, and people, when they taste our fruits, by the way, I mean, they eat our bananas, and they say, oh, this is more tasty than the bananas we have back home, more sweet. I mean, those short Egyptian bananas. When they eat our watermelons, they say, well, this is very sweet, this is very tasty. When they eat our cabbages, our cauliflower, when they eat our okra, when they eat our apricots, Egypt is #1 country worldwide exporting citrus, or exporting, I mean, Spain used to be #1, now Egypt is #1 worldwide exporting citrus, by the way. So, I mean, our Egyptian lentils, people ask for it. Koshari, if you're a vegetarian, you want to go to, and the people know, even they know the names. Now they do those food tourism, and I'm amazed. You go on a tour visiting the pyramids and the museum, and then they tell you, tonight we just booked on the internet a food tour. And I ask, what food tour is that? They're staying in those hotels by the Nile. They go on the internet, I mean, individually, and they book food tours, and there are guides who take them on a walking tour, and they stop.
That would be the best tour, by the way.
That's the best tour. They eat the koshari, they drink the sugar cane juice, and they eat the falafel, and they eat the mixed grill, and they eat the pigeons. They love the pigeons in the downtown shop, and I don't want to mention the name again. I mean, I have to mention names. I mean, I mean those. I mean, grilled pigeons in the downtown. You know what I'm talking about. The small.
I'm vegetarian. I would never eat a pigeon.
Yeah, well, I'm a beefeatarian.
It's against my principles.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a seafood diet, Dina. I see food and I eat it.
Thank you very much. On this note, Dr. Amr Atef, you're a travel expert, a PhD in heritage and museum studies. Would like to thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a very special episode. Of course, we're going to continue to cover what's happening in Egypt.
Yes.
When
In
it
New
comes
Egypt.
to in New Egypt, and I like that expression. And hopefully, inshallah, we have more still left in this summer
Yes.
to be able to talk about more beautiful places in Egypt. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And I guess this would bring us to the end of this edition of Windows and Current Affairs. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again next week, that's a goodbye.